Good projection. 10 in the pit. You know he wants it. You throw the ball, and then all you can do is just sort of hope that it got off your hand properly and that you'll carry all the pins, because that could have easily been a solid 10 pin.
He told me he really got burned out on tour after all those years, and he actually dropped his membership to the PBA. But he got his card back last year. As you can see, very excited with his 4th straight strike in the 7th frame. He's up by 21 pins. Mike Scroggins will try to make up the deficit when we come back to Albuquerque. And so Mike Scroggins has 21 pins to make up, coming to the 7th frame in our opening round match.
Sort of a punch and a counter punch kind of a game right now, Mike. Mike Scroggins, very important that he stays in touch with Gary-Skidmore by striking here in the 7th frame.
A winner in Sacramento back in 1992. And he likes that. Mike Scroggins with a smile on his face as he strikes in the 7th. Scroggins, by the way, is a big baseball card collector.
There are quite a few guys out here that really enjoy baseball cards and the rotisserie baseball leagues. They do that out here on the road. And there really is so much time, and you really need to have a hobby out here. So a lot of guys spend their time buying and selling baseball players in rotisserie baseball.
Scroggins in the 8th. And couldn't quite trip up the 7 pin.
And virtually the same shot he left in the 4th frame. We'll take a look at this shot coming from right at you. Makes a good shot. Comes in just a little bit light in the pocket. Here comes the messenger, but it gets rerouted up to the front. Now this is the same shot he missed earlier. No problem making the 7 pin as he gives himself a round of applause as if to say, see, I'm not a bad spare shooter.
That's his mom, Kay, and his dad, Eddie. His mom very excited to be here. She is just recovering from breast cancer surgery and looking forward to cheering Mike on to a victory. But Gary-Skidmore will have something to say about that. Skidmore in the 8th, up by 12.
Really has things going his way right now as Gary-Skidmore points toward lane 23. When Mike Scroggins made that 7 pin, it actually bounced back out into the field of play. That'll have to be removed.
There is a pin in the channel on lane 23.
There we go. Let's get that little baby out of there. Just a little farther.
Now what is that apparatus?
That's a pin getter outer, I believe. I don't want to get too technical with you, Mike, but you know, that's what it is.
A pin getter outer.
Gary-Skidmore right now with the opportunity to shoot 278 if he takes it all the way out. If he strikes this next shot, he'll be working on a 250 pace. The best Mike Scroggins can do is 246. Big shot, 9th frame.
And another strike for Gary-Skidmore.
And you'll notice with Gary-Skidmore, when he finds himself in a pressure situation, he gets faster and more direct. This ball is on a line right into the pocket.
6 in a row now for Skidmore. And Scroggins down by 32 in the 9th. And he's not giving up.
No, he's not laying down, but it's going to be very difficult. Right now, Mike Scroggins, he really must strike out. That would force Gary-Skidmore to mark in the 10th frame. If he does not strike out, then Gary-Skidmore is going to have a very easy path to our second match.
Mike told me that he loves the game of golf and says if he was good enough, he'd love to be a pro golfer. But he's better at bowling, apparently.
Yeah, he certainly is.
And he leaves 1 pin up in the 10th frame, the 6th pin. So Scroggins will try to get the spare to close out the 10th frame.
And that's pretty much going to do it for Mike Scroggins. Right now, Gary-Skidmore has nothing to do but just get up in the 10th frame and keep his momentum going. You know, it's rather interesting. Gary's wife told him at the beginning of the week that she thought he was going to win the tournament. I'm sure that Gary looked at her and laughed at her, but maybe she knew something. Eve, you're a little kind of a soothsayer.
And so a great week by Mike Scroggins. Leaves the open frame in the 10th. Finishes with a 222. And Gary-Skidmore now in the 10th frame, trying to close out strong.
Well, the people here in Albuquerque very happy to see Gary-Skidmore as he advances into our next match.
He needs 5, and he got more than 5. The strike.
As he looked back to me and he put his hands out and said, "Look, Marshall, I've got about 7 boards to play with out here. I can't miss."
7 in a row now for Skidmore. He'll try to strike out here in the 10th frame.
Well, it's not going to get any easier. He's going to be taking on the extraordinarily talented Doug Kent in our next match.
Gary-Skidmore with yet another strike.
One more for 278, and for someone who hasn't bowled on national television for many, many years, or for that matter, bowled in a PBA national event since 1990, it's amazing what the memory can do for you. He remembers bowling good on television. He's a 6-time champion, and he's using those good thoughts to draw on today.
And so Gary-Skidmore finishes with a 278, beating Mike Scroggins 222, and Gary-Skidmore will advance to our second round match against the 10-year veteran Doug Kent. You can see Gary-Skidmore had a spare in the 3rd, but the rest were strikes, and he'll try to keep it going against Doug Kent. And our second round match is coming up.